Vacation. Only the old adage, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Can't walk on the moon. Keep from the slaughter house. See truth. Earth is flat.
I see skies of white cross patterns too. I see them true for me and you, and think to myself, the sky used to be a baby blue. I see trees of green, shrubs with severed trunks reduced to stumps, and think to myself, they are terraforming this world. I see doctors lie prescribing pills that treat and never cure, and think to myself, trust no one in this world. I see man-made storms flooding the poor in a swirl, and think to myself, they are geoengineering this world. I see globe Earth lies, fake space station is no surprise, and think to myself, we're living in a freaked out world. I hear the babies cry, watch them grow the shots, keep them low, and think to myself, we're living in a whacked out world. Think to myself, we're living in a whacked out world.
Shout out to What World D, my brother.
Go Mike, go Mike. You're not gonna believe what just happened.
Shout out to Shanna Hunea. Big up yourself. Word up, Twinkle Twinkle, baby.
Walking on the flat earth.
Derek Rodriguez,
Walking on the flat earth.
or should I say Earth?
I'm not walking on the spinning ball.
You think the Earth is round, cause that's what they told ya. From elementary school, you trained to be a glober. Have you ever been out of space to see the curve? Or you just rely on NASA's every spoken word? Regurgitated theories, they be so fly. I see the boat again, it came back in sight. Used a pair of binoculars, brought it back to life. The sun is not 93 million miles. No. Parallel sun rays through the clouds, straight down. The Most High showeth his handiwork. When he made the firmament and earth. Earth is flat. Where's the curve? Earth is flat. Where's the curve? Tell him. Earth is flat. Where's the curve? Earth is flat. Where's the curve? Man, I'm telling you, Earth is flat. Where's the curve? Earth is flat. Where's the curve? Tell him. Earth is flat. Where's the curve? Earth is flat. Where's the curve? Man, I'm telling you, Earth is flat.
And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
200 years ago, everyone thought that the Earth was flat.
Hey man, you ever look into flat Earth?
You've been under investigation, Mr. Wordsworth. You're found to be obsolete.
And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole.
Welcome to ODD TV.
Kill the programming.
The Earth is officially classified as an oblate spheroid, meaning that it's bulging at the equator and it's flattened out at the poles. Here's a short clip with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
So, Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning, and it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere, it's oblate, and officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped.
It's like pear-shaped. It's like pear-shaped.
So apparently it's a pear-shaped oblate spheroid. Sounds fine to me, but there seems to be issues when NASA puts out images of the Earth.
They're always perfect spheres, and some of these are claimed to be single shots. Not only that, but the images that NASA gives us are never really consistent. Here's 3 separate NASA images of the Earth, and North America is a different size on each one.
Come to find out that NASA photoshops their images using CGI composites.
In 2002, Blue Marble 2.0, NASA's Rob Simon made this. And it had wide appeal too. For example, it ended up as the default background on the iPhone. So the land layer here comes from
the Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectroradiometer aboard Terra.
They stashed the clouds for later, went onto the ocean. That came from an instrument that measures phytoplankton in the sea.
Where it was low, I colored it dark blue because they're low mostly in mid-oceans. And then where it's a little bit higher, it was like a little bit brighter green.
Then add the clouds back in.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Then
there was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
And then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces, but you can't just slap them all together.
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat, or the clouds are sort of too see-through. So I just hit Command Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space. I'm getting results that I like, but I think it's a little bit exaggerated. So I'm working on some techniques to try to tone it down a little bit.
So here we are in 2018, and we can't trust that we've ever seen a true image of the Earth from a distance. On one hand, we're told that we live on an oblate spheroid, and on the other hand, NASA pumps out cartoon balls that are perfect spheres.
Speaking of oblate spheroids and perfect spheres, both of them would have detectable curvature, right? Well, it's not showing up for anyone who tries to find it.
Let's jump right to the current world record for long-distance landscape photography. This photo defies the curvature of Earth, even with the heights of both mountains factored in.
Okay, so since this is all in meters, let me convert this to feet. 4102. That's 13,458. Again, that's what Bill said. 13,458 was the elevation for the distant mountain range. And from this other place right here, which is at 2820, and just to confirm, yep, 9251 and change, so 9252, let's just say, round it up. That's the altitude of the photographer. So we go to, let's just go ahead and copy that. Go to the Earth curve calculator here, everybody likes to use. And let's say that's the height of the observer, 9251.969. And the distance at 440 kilometers away. Let's do this as kilometers and miles. 273.403. 273.403. So, what is supposed to be hidden according to this? The horizon's at 117.799969 miles away, according to this. If you're here, this is at that altitude, your horizon is going to be at 117.8 miles away, and the target over here should be 16,140.1805 below your ability to see it. So let's do something else here. We'll use a little calculator here and see what the difference is. 16,140.1805. Subtract the height of the mountain, which was again 13,458.005. So if I'm understanding this correctly, then the top of that mountain range should be 2,682.1755 feet below the curvature. In other words, about a half mile below the ability of the observer to see it.
273 miles away. It's mind-blowing. From point A to point B, the shortest car ride would be 8 hours.
Here is a picture of the Bolivian salt flats. This is over 4,000 square miles and is called the world's biggest mirror. This place is so flat that it defies the curvature of the Earth. There are many instances of people documenting the non-existence of curvature. These are just a couple of my favourites. Another way we know that curvature doesn't exist is because of amateur balloons. This one reached a height of 121,000 feet, and you'll notice that the horizon is at eye level. This is inconsistent with a sphere, as you would have to look down to see the horizon as you ascended.
Let's watch another high-altitude balloon. It's always flat when you're not using a fisheye lens on the camera.
Cameras with fisheye lenses force a curve onto the image.
This is why we saw curvature in the Felix Baumgartner Red Bull jump.
It's a fisheye lens, because a normal lens would have shown a flat horizontal horizon like we saw in the video at 121,000 feet.
See, Felix Baumgartner's jump was from 128,000 feet, so that's only a 7,000 foot difference. There wouldn't be that drastic of a curve change from no curve to a bunch of curve. See, and a fisheye just makes everything look round, so behind Felix Baumgartner, it's nothing but New Mexico. And I'm pretty sure half the Earth, or, 75% of the Earth isn't covered by New Mexico. So a popular belief that is constantly used as proof for the globe is boats disappearing behind the horizon. But this is actually just an optical illusion. Humans can only see so far. But with super zoom cameras like the Nikon P900, or even just a telescope or some binoculars, you can bring back ships and boats that have appeared to go over the supposed curve of the Earth. Did you know that the word horizon stems from horizontal? The definition of horizontal is as follows: parallel to the plane of the horizon, at right angles to the vertical. Synonyms: level, flat, plane, smooth, even. Alright, it's called a horizon, not a curvizon.
Now let's have a look at the characteristics of water. Water always finds its level and always ends up perfectly flat when undisturbed. It's one of the easiest things to understand. No experiment on Earth has ever replicated curved water like which is supposedly on the spinning ball Earth.
You know who else knew that water doesn't curve? The ancients. As you can see here, we have the Egyptian, Norse, Hindu, Mayan, Inca, Navajo, Greek, and Hebrew depictions of a flat Earth. These are the cosmologies that they knew.
It wasn't all that long ago that everyone knew with certainty that the Earth was flat and motionless. They also knew that we are enclosed by the firmament and that we have a local sun and moon that circle above us. You see the sun and the moon inside the firmament in most of these depictions. So is there any credence to this idea?
The answer is yes. There are many times just like this when the sun shows us how close it actually is. Many people admire the beauty of the scene like this, but they never stop and think about what we are seeing. And what we are seeing are sun rays that are telling our eyes that the sun is local. All you have to do is trace the rays back to the source.
The sun is right here with us, right above us. This happens all the time. All you have to do is pay attention and think about it logically. Does it look like it's 93 million miles away? The answer is no.
One of the things that I struggled with the most when it comes to flat Earth is, why does the sun rise and set? I couldn't make any sense of it until I realized that the sun was much closer and much smaller than we are told. The sun appears to rise and set due to perspective only. What we are seeing here is the actual path of the sun versus what we see because of human perspective.
It seems as if it's rising and setting, but it's just coming and going. It's the sun as well as the moon that do the moving across the sky. The earth is not moving whatsoever. Also, you see here that the sun does, in fact, shrink as it gets further away, but only if the atmospheric conditions are right. When it's really humid, the sun gets magnified. When it's dry out, you pretty much see the sun for its true size as it comes and goes.
Now let's talk about the moon. Here's a normal moon in the night sky. We are told that the moon is 238,000 miles away. The funny thing is that the Tycho crater, which is said to only be 53 miles in radius, is perfectly visible to us from Earth at this distance. So I tried to figure out a way to test if we would be able to see the Tycho crater from a distance of 238,000 miles away. I went to Google Earth and I made a 53-mile radius in Texas, as you can see here. And you can also do this yourself. Then I zoomed out as far as I could, and unfortunately it only goes to 39,000 miles away, but it still makes the point in my opinion. You can barely see the 53-mile radius from 39,000 miles away. If I were to go another 200,000 miles out, we surely would not be able to see the red circle anymore. Of course, Google Earth is complete nonsense. Let's watch a quick clip in reference to Google Earth.
All right, here's what looks like an objective image of the world. This is Google Earth, and it's a circular image, so it gets around the big problem of trying to portray the world on a flat surface. Now, you have a lot of reservations, don't you, about Google Earth? Yet, to many people, it's a wonderful application.
It is great technology, and that's what I first thought when I started doing the work on it. But I do now think that because of the way in which they have bought up so much of the data, which they fed into this geospatial application, is what they call it, they are monopolizing maps online. If you go online and you're using maps, you are probably using a Google map. And there's also some sort of sinister and worrying dimensions to Google, because they buy Earth Viewer, which is the application, and that is funded by the CIA.
We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. William Casey, director of the CIA in 1981. The CIA's whole purpose is to dispense propaganda and disinformation.
So anyway, we were talking about the moon and how being able to see Tycho crater doesn't make sense. Now let's look at an image of the moon during the day. Now just think about this. Why would we ever see the moon during the day? I mean, if it's 238,000 miles deep into the darkness of outer space, how does it show up in our blue sky?
The answer again is because it's local, just like the sun, just like the ancients depicted in their models, and just like many flat earthers propose today. To be fair, we are not sure of the exact layout and model, but we do know two things for sure. The Earth is a level plane, and it doesn't move at all. Everything after that, we are still trying to figure out.
How do lunar eclipses work, you ask? Well, certainly not like we are told.
We see the shadow of Earth on the moon, and it appears to be round, therefore we live on a ball. But whatever is causing the shadow on the moon, we don't even know. It's not the Earth. There's been so many instances of lunar eclipses where the sun and the moon are both above the horizon while the eclipse is taking place. Look it up for yourself. It's called a selenilion. And you can find websites that'll tell you. There, I'll show you one right here. What makes October 8th lunar eclipse so special? It's an impossible occurrence. It says, on Wednesday early morning, those watching the sky in North America will be able to witness the most unique total lunar eclipse yet. Though lunar eclipses happen twice a year, you might be upset to miss this one. as this rare type of eclipse will occur while the sun is still up. Now, how is the Earth causing the shadow on the moon if the sun is still up above the horizon with the moon?
In an old book by F.H. Cook called The Terrestrial Plane, it says this: according to the globular theory, a lunar eclipse occurs when the sun, earth, and moon are in a direct line. But it is on record that since about the 15th century, over 50 eclipses have occurred while both sun and moon have been visible above the horizon.
Now, let's have a look at the stars. When you look at the time-lapse videos of the stars, they all move uniformly. This might make sense on a spinning globe if the only thing we were doing was spinning. However, mainstream science not only tells us that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, but we are also told that we orbit around the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour. In addition to that, our solar system, Earth and all, rolls around the centre of the galaxy at 490,000 miles per hour. And finally, the entire Milky Way galaxy is travelling through space at over 1 million miles per hour. Keep in mind that none of these motions have ever been proven, not even Earth's supposed rotation. With all of these motions considered, is this what we would see night after night for thousands of years? No. They also tell us that the stars are distant suns, but they look like orbs of dancing energy when you zoom in on them with a high-power zoom camera, and considering how far away they are, should we even be able to zoom into them in the first place?
Now let's talk about planets. People always ask me, why is Earth the only planet that's flat? And it's simple, really. It's because Earth is not a planet. Planets were known to the ancients as wandering stars. Let's have a look at the etymology of the word. This is from the online etymology dictionary. Wandering stars. See, that's what you need to pay attention to. Wandering stars. That's what these were called, planets. And we weren't considered a wandering star. Now let's keep going. From planetstae to wander, so called because they have apparent motion unlike the fixed stars, originally included also the sun and moon. Okay, so they move in a completely different way than the regular uniform stars that all move the exact same, originally included the sun and moon. Also, Earth was originally not included because it's not a planet, it's a plane.
You can find the planets of the universe encoded in our weekdays. Sunday is Sun. Monday is Moon. Tuesday is Mars. Wednesday is Mercury. Thursday is Jupiter. Friday is Venus. Saturday is Saturn. All 7 wandering stars are accounted for. You're probably wondering about Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. Well, as you may know, Pluto was demoted from planet status in 2006. And there is much debate online as to whether Uranus and Neptune should even be considered. If not, then we are back at 6 planets, but that's including the Earth. Take away the Earth because it's not a planet and add the Sun and Moon back in, and we're back at the original 7 planets.
Now let's have a look at what we are told the solar system looks like. Central Sun, hence heliocentric, and the planets all going around it. Now, just like pictures of the Earth, you can't find any real pictures of the so-called solar system.
Here's what you get when you do a search for real pictures of the solar system. A bunch of cartoons.
The argument is that we just can't go out far enough and take pictures of the solar system, bro. It's not that simple. Well, I beg to differ.
NASA claims to have the Hubble telescope taking real pictures of distant galaxies. Here's one right here. Look up spiral galaxy pair NGC 4302 and NGC 4298, but they tell us that the Hubble is only 350 miles away, so maybe we can't get pictures of our solar system with Hubble. Well, what about the Discover satellite with the Epic camera? They claim that it took this shot of Earth from 1 million miles away.
If that's the case, can't they just zoom back a little bit and snap the solar system? Again, the fact is that everything we get from NASA is CGI. Start looking at it and examining it. You'll notice. Is the Earth a planet?
The answer is no.
It's never been proven.
Just programmed into us. We have to stop looking up at the lights in the sky for answers because we are not one of those lights. The Earth is special and so are you. We are at the centre of all things, and the only life is here. Outer space is one big lie. Yeah, you can look up at the night sky and see the stars and wandering stars, but it's not what we are told it is. You can't travel there, and there is no such thing as deep space.
NASA admits repeatedly that we can't go into deep space because we no longer have the 60s technology that we used to get to the moon.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go.
The kinds of technologies that we're testing out on Space Station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
And this is really the beginning, I think, of human beings leaving low Earth orbit.
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
See, can't go past low Earth orbit. That equals can't get past the barrier, also known as the dome or the firmament.
If you look up how many people have been to space, here's what you get. Of the 536, 3 people completed only a suborbital flight. 533 people reached Earth orbit, 24 travelled beyond low Earth orbit, and 12 walked on the moon. So it seems that the Apollo mission was the only one to ever get to deep space. You would think that by now we'd have several bases on the moon and would have already been to Mars a few times. But no.
And let me just say that we were discussing how the moon is local, so naturally, you're probably wondering why we can't go. Well, the thing is that none of this stuff is what we are told it is. There are documented cases of being able to see stars through the moon. So this begs the question, is the moon even a physical object?
It was also documented in the Royal Society of Philosophical Transactions from 1974. It says, an account of an appearance of light like a star seen lately in the dark part of the moon. You can download and read the whole PDF from the Royal Society website.
This is why we have so many depictions of this throughout the world. But NASA and others maintain that the moon is a physical body that man can land on and visit. But only in the late 60s, early 70s.
Let's get back to the Earth and how the spherical Earth paradigm is very new on the timeline of man. Again, here's a few of the cosmologies of the ancients. The people of today have been taught that many of these ancient cultures were primitive and stupid. The fact is, they were more in touch with reality back then. We are completely out of touch with reality, and it's by design. So, we have all those, and here we have a 1542 depiction with Earth in the centre, followed by the 7 planets of the universe, aka the wandering stars, and finally, the firmament. This is also called the crystalline heavens, the place of the fixed stars.
This is around the time the Society of Jesus, or the Jesuits, were founded, in 1540. They are largely responsible for the spread of heliocentrism.
Notice the sun in their logo. It's because they are sun worshippers and want nothing more than for all of humanity to also worship the sun. Here is what the Earth was depicted like thereafter.
This was created by a Jesuit scholar in 1665.
Yes, the heliocentric globe model of the world has always had its advocates, but these celebrated figures throughout history have almost all been easy to spot Freemasons, and I should note that Freemasonry is a form of Judaism.
And the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, was a crypto-Jew.
A crypto-Jew is a Jew who converts to another religion and outwardly embraces the new religion, while secretly maintaining Jewish practices.
While all these Freemasons and Jesuits were pushing the heliocentric model of the Earth, many people were saying, wait a minute, what's this about? The Earth is provably flat and motionless. You can find several well-written books with amazing insight on why the heliocentric theory is false and why the static plane is the truth, and these books kept coming well into the 1900s. We have Zetetic Astronomy from 1865, Is the Bible from Heaven? Is the Earth a Globe? from 1890, and that one was written by the guy who made the now famous Gleason's map, which is a flat Earth map. We have Zetetic Cosmogony from 1899, Terra Firma, Earth Not a Planet from 1901, and so on.
If you go to the website archive.org, you can find all of these and many more to download for free.
Here's a flat Earth map in Samuel Rowbotham's book Zetetic Astronomy.
Here's Alexander Gleason's flat Earth map, one of the most popular to this day.
Here's one from a flat Earth advocate named William Carpenter. You see that they all look very similar as far as layout of the land.
We have the known countries and continents in the middle, surrounded by Antarctica, which is not a continent but a perimeter of ice.
Now, we don't know for sure if this map is accurate, but I personally believe there is something to all of this.
If you research Operation High Jump and Operation Deep Freeze, you'll see that a lot was going on in Antarctica during the 1940s and 50s. Admiral Richard E. Byrd was leading numerous expeditions there.
Conveniently enough, in 1959 the Antarctic Treaty was established, just 1 year after NASA was created.
And the treaty puts Antarctica off limits to normal people. You can only go if you and your reasons are approved by the proper authorities. Another way you may be able to go is on a guided tour. Why is it that the countries of the world are constantly at war with each other, but they will all adhere to the Antarctic Treaty without any issues?
Well, that's because all the world is a stage.
The said poles of the Earth, whether south or north, are surrounded by strangeness, while the Antarctic is out of bounds for the public. The North Pole is said to not have any land, just a floating ice sheet that expands and contracts from season to season. What's interesting is that the North Pole was often depicted with land in maps prior to the mid-1600s.
I've found several maps with land at the North Pole, including the Mercator North Pole projection. Again, all of these maps are from before the mid-1600s, when all of the sudden, maps that no longer contained the Arctic land were being pumped out. I personally believe that there is still land at the North Pole. Why would they lie about all of this? Well, when you sit down and you really think about it, it's simple. The Big Bang, evolution, spinning ball Earth, chaotically darting through infinite space where eventually our sun will die out, creates the ultimate mind control. This set of beliefs leads to a mentality that nothing matters and everything, including you, are nothing more than an accident. This is far from the truth. You are very powerful, and the ruling class is scared of your potential. This is why people are required to take vaccines and suckered into taking flu shots. This is why they spray chemicals above our heads all day, every day. Chemtrails have several purposes, and some include slow kill of not only the populations, but the soil too, so we can't grow food in the future. All the food will have to come from corporations with employees that have to wear hazmat suits while applying the chemicals that you're going to eat. Nestle wants to own water. All of it. The CEO of Nestle called the idea that water is a human right extreme. And global warming? It's a fallacy. It's a trick put into place to make you think that the polar ice caps are melting and it's your fault. We are completely enslaved, programmed and brainwashed by the educational system and the mainstream media, constantly kept in fear and in debt, so you can never really stop and think about all of this. It's absolutely appalling, all the things they're doing to us. Research legal name fraud and crown copyright for proof that birth certificates are merely receipts and that we are unknowingly giving ourselves over to the rulers. Everything that's used against us is to keep us dumbed down and preoccupied so that we can never figure this out and make moves. It's time to wake up. Another reason for lying about the shape of the Earth and making it into a ball is because when you turn it into a ball, you can cut off any land you want and keep it hidden. For example, we will take this map, we will cut out a piece,
Goes up, Loverboard. Goaltending. Hammered it, gripped. Will took him out. A spin and it freezes up. Finger roll. He's
got skills. To drill. Crosses it. Baseline leaner. Off the side of the rim. Viper. Baseline leaner. To Houston. Baseline leaner. Blocked it. Houston grabs the ball. Shoot the ball. Scores. Viper. From downtown. Amazing. Push to Mills. Push to the floor. Again with a shot. Yes. Bulls have the lead. Stands he goes. Viper raises up. Finesses it. It's a blowout.
What?
Go.
Sorry, I want to know about the flat Earth theory because I don't want to say I'm a.
Hey man, you ever look into flat Earth? Flat Earth? Once you go flat, you never go back.
Tell it's real because it looks so
like
fake.
a lot of people are like, Eddie,
Once you
really?
go flat,
Tell us
you never
why.
go back.
Yes.
Flat
Yes,
Earth.
please.
It's really simple. Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Look into it. What lies before us is the opportunity to forge a new world order. Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Look into it. Hey man, you ever look into flat Earth? Fuck no. You guys are all crazy. I'm crazy because of that shit. Hey man, you ever look into flat Earth? To this day. Every day. To this day. Every day. Look into it. They believe it. The narration is all programming. What's above us, and what we're on, we're being lied to, and everyone watches that. That's always been the plan. Eddie. Ladies and gentlemen,
The world is flat.
What was going through your mind? How amazed were you to see your roadster up there?
Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Look into it. Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Look into it. Flat Earth. Flat Earth. Flat Earth. Flat Earth. Flat Earth.
It's my desire, if not for you, to try to talk to you What I say is responsible. Ridiculous. I alone am responsible for the same. Our history will be what we make.
Look into it. Look into it.
I'll remind you often.
That's
he
always
summons you to court.
Alien invasion. A one-world government.
We were driving in the road and we saw something in the sky.
Alien invasion. Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Look into it. Once you go
Today,
flat, you
start
never go
working
back.
on not touching your face because
Once you go flat, you never go back. Flat Earth. Look into it.
definitely flat. You can't truly be serious and believe that this Earth is flat. Are you disputing our astronauts who have seen our beautiful round globe? No one's been to the moon. Oh, wait a minute. Did you say nobody has been to the moon and believe that this Earth is flat? Are you disputing our astronauts who have seen our beautiful round globe from outer space? Carnage.
When a man reaches the edge, after he goes as far as any man can possibly go,
says the Earth is definitely flat. You can't truly be serious and
Leave, I lived on a ball. That's the sad reality. You're not spinning, not at all.
Previously on The Amazing Race.
We had a plan and we were doing it well. That, until the university lecture and passed an oral exam.
Nicholas Copernicus ignited the golden age of astronomy here in Prague. Teams must now listen to 2 astronomical lectures, one stating that the Earth is flat.
No. You want to buy a ticket to Antarctica? Wake up, because if we go there, we'll be able to see that Antarctica is the edge of the flat Earth. I guess anything's possible, Jerry.
The edge of the flat Earth, I guess.
Alexi, tell us something interesting. Okay. The Earth is flat. The Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat.
The flat Earth. I guess anything's possible, Jerry.
The Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat.
It's really
and what do you
SpaceX
do when
and
you're
Tesla.
at space?
Or it's I think I'm like sales, and then at the end, so I'm in the design studio, typically half a day a week, field things, and then.
The Earth is flat.
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
The Earth is flat.
And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
Well, fellas, funny movie. Over here, because my first question is, he was a conspiracy theorist, right?
Yes, he was.
How do you feel about the flat Earth theory?
That was hilarious. That's something he brought to the table too, right?
I think it's not only, I can say, very, very funny. For different reasons.
I used to think the Earth was flat, though. I think there's a difference between conspiracy theory that actually could be rooted in some truth. There are a lot of conspiracies out there.
Yeah.
But
there's
science we're talking about. Absolutely. You're going against actual factually proven evidence of something, then that's a whole nother mindset.
I like seeing the difference in the way people think, and when people passionately justify certain things is where you can find those things that.
So do you think the Earth is flat?
I personally do not think the Earth is flat.
When I was in, 8th grade.
Come in and I will explain everything. Let me show you around. A flat, because here everything is flat.
So, what we can see and feel has been discredited because we're on a spinning ball, spinning thousands of miles an hour in an infinite void, spinning around a fireball.
Call me a flat earther.
Going nowhere.
If I told you to call me a flat earther, stuff will call me a flat earther. Stuff will do that all this global warming stuff is a bunch of crap. What would you tell me?
And 90% of the matter energy you can't see, touch, or feel. It's called dark energy.
Call me a flat
dark matter. And everything is pointless, and human beings are nothing but random atoms that collide together. No. How fast does the Earth spin? 1,000 miles an hour. So 1,000th of 1,000 miles an hour is 1 mile an hour shift. Asteroids, magnetism, the fact that there's an unfathomable amount of water on it just shifting all the time. Space is void of everything, right? It's a perfect vacuum. Oh, by the way, Bill Nye, the science guy, says he proves that the Earth is a ball because you can see a ship slowly disappear in the horizon. You can't. That isn't even true. Do you know that every mile squared is 8 inches. So at 1 mile, there should be an 8-inch drop. At 2 miles, there should be a 64-inch.
Man, that's the best idea since they faked the moon landing.
It's an exponential shift. I can't remember the exact math. But there's a salt flats in South America that's like 150 miles, so you can see across. If the Earth is curved the way they say it's curved, there would be like a 8,000-foot drop. The irony is people say that you're so stupid if you question NASA's depiction of the Earth when... Okay, so the ultimate vacuum, right? Why wouldn't the molecules of the atmosphere be sucked out into space? There's an answer to this. It's a slow gradient. So the farther away you get, it balances out with gravity. This is what the scientists say. So way up there, the air is so thin, and gravity is still affecting it. There's just kind of a slow, gradual thing, and that's why there isn't a big difference between the vacuum of space and Earth. Like if it was this air pressure in the vacuum of space, it would just go, it would just be like opening a door in an airplane. But since the farther up you go, the less air pressure you have, blah, blah. Okay, that doesn't really work. I'll tell you why. Because if you're traveling from California to New York, and the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour underneath you, and you're going 300 miles an hour, okay, you would never get to your destination. And if someone says, no, but you're within the atmosphere, no, you just said we weren't. The vacuum of space, right? Way up, 30,000 feet up above. The solar atmosphere, you're not connected to the atmosphere. The vacuum literally isn't sucking anything because it's a slow gradient to infinite nothingness, right? The fact that you have never even thought of that means there's more to the story than meets the eye. It means you've been indoctrinated. Why do they keep selling us on the same thing? Infinite emptiness, heliocentric model, that's a cult. The sun cult. I don't know what it is. I don't. All I know is NASA lies all the time. All I know is that our observable reality is the Earth is not moving. All I know is that the sun and the moon, the sun is 400 times farther away and 400 times bigger than the moon. That's why they're exactly the same size. Do you know the odds of that? Almost zero. It's so zero that our two biggest celestial objects are exactly the same size in the sky, even though the difference in size is 400 times different in size, but yet they're the same size in the sky. That's not a natural reason. That's a lie. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's like as if, like this phone, if I just randomly held up my phone, it's the same exact size of my window, the square, exact. Except now make it huge, make it 93 million miles and just make it the only two objects in the sky, and they just happen to do eclipses perfectly. That's ridiculous. How many inches per mile curved does the Earth curve? The Earth has a radius of approximately, 8 inches per mile squared. Okay, how far away can a ship see a lighthouse? 42 miles away. That would fall 996 feet below sightline. No questions. It's all good? I don't think all good. There would be 1,000 feet of drop. 1,000 feet. You ever shine a flashlight over a 1,000-foot hole? If you're in the bottom of the hole, you wouldn't see the flashlight. Do you even know what light is? What a photon is? Oh, it's a wave and a particle. How? Care to explain how some can be a wave and a particle, depending on who you're lying to? Doesn't add up. Doesn't add up, guys. Doesn't add up one bit. So this is how lies fall apart. One honest person questioning always spirals lies. So when I thought that the vacuum of space, because I don't have an agenda. I'm not in the Flat Earth Society. I think that's a psyop, by the way. The vacuum of space doesn't suck out the atmosphere because it's such a slow gradient that up there isn't really atmosphere. That it counterbalances with gravity, inertia, all these forces, so the air molecules just kind of stay in a haze, and there's basically no atmosphere whatsoever to the point where a perfect vacuum doesn't suck it, right? That's where the planes are. If an Earth is going 1,000 miles an hour underneath a plane, and a plane's going 300 miles an hour, how on earth is it traveling west to east? No one cares, huh? don't call me stupid. You don't even know how planes work. Bernoulli's principle, none of that stuff. I look into all this stuff, and I'm not trying to make people think the Earth is flat. I mean, just all evidence says that. I mean, all navigation is based on a flat Earth. How the fuck do planes travel west to east, east to west? Do they go 1,300 miles an hour if they're going with the spin? Doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense. The Big Bang. So all the matter and energy in the universe came from a speck. What made the speck? What made the bang? Oh, none of it. I don't know if it's flat or not, but it's not moving. It's not moving. It's not moving, guys. No, there's no movement. Just go on and notice all the people saying flat Earth is a psyop. None of them say anything about any of the points I just made. They don't care about the points I'm making. All they're what it's called gaslighting or ad hominem. What I just talked about with the Earth spinning 1,000 miles an hour and why an airplane can still fly west to east, east to west with relatively the same speed. And then you say it's still part of the atmosphere. No, it isn't. The sun and the moon travel across the sky at the same speed. Okay, now that you've justified in your mind that they're the same size, even though they're 400 times different in size allegedly, they're traveling in 12-hour increments across the sky at the same speed. Do you know the odds that that's also true? There's no physical reason that would be. Okay, if the moon is traveling around the Earth and the Earth is traveling around the sun, why would they be going?
Wow, Neil Armstrong! Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
By the way, for most of human existence, no one thought the Earth was a ball spinning through infinite vacuum around a fireball. Okay, Earth's tilt is exactly 66.6 degrees. Okay, watch Google try desperately to not reveal this.
I'm one of the science guys, and I'm one of the repair guys.
About 67,000. Oh, you mean 66,600 miles an hour?
Houston, are you ready for the event?
Now that you know it's probably made up. You understand that they get to just pick these numbers. So you're like, okay, let's say it's tilted at 66.6 degrees, but you have to inverse it, put it upside down in order to see it. How fast is it going? You know how fast. 66,600 miles an hour. It's great.
What?
Go.
Sorry, I want to know about the flat Earth theory because I don't want to say I'm a.
Pick up a Hohner and feel the energy of our electric guitars.
Earth. NASA says we go into space, which was basically a hoax. I have some unorthodox thoughts. Earth is flat.
500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
Sorry, Neil. Try me. See if I think I have no opinion on your bullshit sci-fi fantasies.
I have some unorthodox thoughts.
Sci-fi fantasies.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses.
And I'm astonished. I wonder, what country am I living in? It's not the one I grew up in. Am I living in? It's not the one I grew up in.
Am I living? It's not the one I grew up in.
Remember, All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The pole, Earth rotates, and the pole bobs up and down over tens of thousands of years, and we oscillate like this, the way a top does. Top does. Top does.
Sci-fi fantasies.
Top does. Top does. Top
Sci-fi
does.
fantasies.
We're pleased to announce the discovery of Kepler 452b,
which was basically a hoax. Typically illiterate people of the world. Typically illiterate people of the world. Typically illiterate people of the world.
Sci-fi fantasies.
You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain. You feel it.
All the things that I used to believe, I can't even believe I believe them anymore. All the things that I used to believe, I can't even believe I believe them anymore.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
It's like I just stopped believing in Santa Claus recently.
Are you really somebody seeking the truth?
We've been fed a lie our entire, I want to call it a lie. We've been fed.
It's a point of view thing, I think.
Earth has been misrepresented to us, so we've been fed this misrepresentation of our own planet. It's not actually a sphere.
Why is that?
Because Earth is flat. Perfectly flat. Wait, but you gotta know, let me just so you understand. But cosmically speaking, Earth is flat.
Roger, we copy. A little chubbier.
Yeah. Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped.
Sci-fi fantasies.
So, it turns out the pear-shapedness is bigger than the height of Mount Everest above sea level.
Sci-fi fantasies. Sorry, Neil. Try me. See if I think I have no opinion on your bullshit sci-fi fantasies.
What I noticed, the just total absence of the pictures of Earth from space, and I still couldn't see the forest for the trees.
And we've all seen those pictures, those gorgeous pictures of a somewhat round planet.
Planet Earth, my home, my place.
Because the awakening, the realization of flat Earth is a big internal wave.
Are you really somebody seeking the truth?
Flat Earth clues, which really delves into the possibility that our human civilization is inside its own Truman-type show, like an enclosed system.
Roger, we copy.
Those people are not really in the mainstream.
They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Earth is flat.
But why the big secret? People are smart, they can handle it. But why the big secret? People are smart, they can handle it.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
With this small spacecraft, we could, dare I say it,
Change the world!
Oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it.
Sci-fi fantasies.
Not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
And when we learn that, we'll know more about where we came from, how we all got here.
Sci-fi fantasies.
Ground control to Major Tom. Your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you...
So wait. Do you think they're helping the cause of the movement so that they can get out from under their lies?
Science. I don't understand. It's just my job 5 days a week.
NASA's approach to exploration is not Star Trek. It's not go where no man has gone before, as they say.
Yes, but as a noted scientist, it's surprising that Bell died in Leeds.
Trouble in space this morning as the International Space Crew attempted a spacewalk outside the station. Here's a live look at the astronauts. Well, I don't believe. I don't think those are astronauts. Yeah, where's their space?
Listen, impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake. And you know, the colors all look kind of weird in space. There's no atmospheric occlusion. You know, like everything looks too crisp. But we didn't really test any of those materials for, you know, is it space hardened or whatever, you know. So it just has the same seats that a normal car has. It's strictly a normal car in space, which I kind of like the absurdity of that. And if you look closely, on the dashboard, there's a tiny roadster with a tiny spaceman. So the Hot Wheels made a Hot Wheels roadster, and a friend of mine suggested, hey, why don't you put that Hot Wheels roadster with a tiny spaceman on it, you know, in the car too? I'm like, that'd be cool. Sure. Sweet.
Eratosthenes.
Actually, we do generate quite a bit of trash from all the different scientific investigations, and we do.
Eratosthenes. 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 Eratosthenes.
Laboratory, and now I'm going back into space on Space Station, and again, it's a national laboratory asset. So,
picture, guys, you look like you're in a studio, maybe in Omaha, Nebraska or something. The shot is so clear. Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
See the hair?
I don't know. And you know, the colors all look kind of weird in space. There's no atmospheric occlusion. You know, like everything looks too crisp. But we didn't really test any of those materials for, you know, is it space hardened or whatever, you know. So.
Laboratory, and now I'm going back into space.
Eratosthenes was second best in the world. Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes.
Eratosthenes.
to me, a frontier is a place where your normal intuition